Everybody, once again, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good here, and once again, we've got a lot to cover, and we have more systems to talk about, not just one next week, but very busy weather pattern. We've been talking about this for a while now, that especially the second half of October was going to be very, very active, and the data continues to support that. So each and every storm is going to be similar in some facts, but each one is going to evolve with different impacts for us as we move further in time. And there's your hint. I'll get to that in a second. First off, on the board today, still keeping it at 2, but the dates have changed. I'm going to take away the system for next week for the upper low. I've seen enough data now from support from the ensembles and from the operational models that the core, the upper level low, the coldest part of that, still a lot of good support. This is going to go from Missouri to Chicago and not impact us. So I just don't see this being an issue when it comes to anything wintry. So I've taken that off the board. The following weekend is one that's going to be interesting to watch, and I'll explain. And then, of course, around Thanksgiving, there is a system that is worth watching. We'll get into that in a second. First off, though, let's talk about this afternoon. Here are the peak wind gusts so far that have been measured at Louisville International, 33 miles per hour, 48 in Indy, and 38 into St. Louis, and still breezy. Gusts close to about 30 even at this hour. It's on the backside of the low pressure that moved through the severe weather in Iowa last night. This is the back part of it. The upper low itself, and giving us a few clouds, especially across southern Indiana, so kind of limiting your temperatures in this area. A little chilly outside for you guys, actually, when it gets cloudy like that. Meanwhile, the sun is at least helping you guys stay somewhat warm to the south. As a result, numbers there, a little bit on the milder side, but you see the effect of the clouds to the north. Seymour right now only right at 50 degrees, 58 here in Louisville. We hit 59, I believe, last hour. Temperatures will be a big story this weekend because of the chilly air moving in. We'll drop to around 40 tonight. Tomorrow, the models are saying 53. I think we'll have enough sun and enough heating to get us probably a little bit warmer than that tomorrow here in Louisville. But the other numbers around Louisville may be the reality. Then we get into the coldest night that we have really in the forecast over the next 7 days, and that'll be Friday night and early Saturday morning. Temperatures in Louisville very close to freezing, and I think there's going to be several more 20s on this map compared to what is showing. How quickly the winds relax is going to be the key on this, because they are going to be shifting around more southerly as we head into Saturday night, early Sunday morning, really. They're going to shift direction, and they should be light, but hopefully it won't shift direction and stay elevated because it's a south wind, and that won't allow us to get as cold as what is indicated here. But either way, I think this is a pretty good chance here of some chilly weather, all right, for Saturday morning. Then we bounce back on Sunday, and then we get into Monday. This is the system that we're going to be tracking. This is the GFS, and I think it's got a pretty good handle of how this is all going to evolve. That's why I chose this particular model run. Energy diving down all the way into Texas. You get an opposite reaction of that, and you get a strong south flow and a strong high pressure. The same one that's giving us the chilly air this weekend is going to work together. These two are going to become best friends as we head into next week and work together to increase the south flow off the Gulf of Mexico right into really Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. This is the zone here that really needs to watch for that south wind, because this is the area that could easily pick up several inches of rain. And it's going to be very localized bands that'll develop. Very narrow bands, but very, very heavy, persistent bands. Very tropical almost in nature. It's some of this, the way it is looking. Now, as we head into Monday, I think we're going to get like a warm front, basically, advection-type showers that'll move through. So a little cloudy on Monday. We've lowered the numbers a little bit. Mainly shower chance for Indiana versus Kentucky, but a few showers are possible. Then, as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, as the low begins to deepen, I'm going to notice the high get in better position as well. And it looks like we're going to see the precipitation field pull back. It's going to get tightly wound around the low. When that happens, that is going to allow us to dry out on a good chunk of late Tuesday. Tuesday morning may be a little wet, but Tuesday afternoon, but especially Wednesday, we're going to get a chance to really dry out for a good period here. Very strong south wind. So I think Tuesday night into Wednesday, temperatures may actually warm while you're sleeping. In fact, we could cross 70 degrees at, say, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday morning, if this all plays out well, and it looks like enough data is coming in to support that. So as the low deepens, very intense band of heavy rain right along the Ozarks here into the Arklatex area. And then on the backside, maybe some dynamic snow that could be developing on the backside of that low, but not a big deal. But for us, very strong south flow, again, warming all night Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then it's about the speed at this point of the system. How quickly does it move to the northeast to allow for this band, this wall of rain to come at us? Because if it moves too slow, first off, areas along its main path, especially West Kentucky into the Mississippi Valley, if it moves too slow, you're talking about 7 or 8 inches of rain out of this, which is going to be a serious flooding scenario developing out of this wave. Hopefully it'll move progressive enough to move in our area by Wednesday night into Thursday. We will still get a decent amount of rain. It will be a little faster in speed once it gets to this point, though. Once it gets a little more into the westerlies, the jet is mainly up here. It's cut off from the jet in this area, but once it gets higher in latitude, it senses the strong westerly flow and begins to speed up, and that will push this band quicker than to the east. So it's only going to be a slow issue for areas riding through here. Have the biggest risk for several inches of rainfall that could cause some flooding. For us, nothing to sneeze at. I would say 2 to 4 inches of rain potentially out of this band as it passes through. Here's the upper low that, again, had been forecast many times to be over us, but you see the low pressure itself is much more to the northwest, and therefore we're not worried about anything wintry with this one. But we got to watch the speed of this. That will determine not only how warm we get on Wednesday, but when the rain actually will arrive. Right now we're betting on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That band of rain will slowly make its way off to the east and will dry out by Thursday afternoon. But this is going to be an interesting scenario to see how this plays out with this heavy rain band. Very wild look to the model runs here. Unique setup there. Okay, so let's talk about some of the parameters real quick. This is the GFS wind field. Obviously, we've got to watch the winds. The winds will be strong. I mean, look at these wind bars straight out of the south aloft. I mean, very strong winds due south right over our area as the system moves to the east. Question is going to be instability, just like it has been with the past two systems. Now, if the timing holds, it's trying to push it in towards sunset on Wednesday. There could be some instability around, produce perhaps some damaging winds. We got to watch that potential this far north. If it slows down even more and arrives late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, then we're back to the same scenario we just came out of last night. A lot of rain and some wind. But timing's everything there, so we can't really tell yet on severe weather. It's just too early on that. All right, now here's where things get a little crazy too. Once the system moves out, the GFS is dropping energy down the weekend of the 21st, but that's about it. It has no southern stream reaction really developing at that point for that following weekend. However, the Canadian, and I'm sorry about the different view, but I have to switch over for the weather bell maps. The Canadian shows an area of low pressure developing actually to our south as we head into the 21st and 22nd. Developing over Tennessee with a rain-snow line awful close to us, just northwest of wave country, in fact. The Euro just came in. Very similar to the Canadian. Develops a little to our south and passes right over us with cold air, trying to change the rain over to some wet snow in the tail end as it pulls away. So that's why I put this system on the board. It is going to be interesting to watch. The one caveat here with this that we got to watch and determine is a southeast ridge. The Canadian points it out pretty well. High pressure here over the Bahamas, basically. And this is the reason why these lows keep getting forced to the north. And the cold air really just can't dive into the southeast part of the country and just dominate the southeast. It just can't do it if there's a blocking high in the way. And this was our fear, and that's the reason why we trended more toward a warmer idea for the early part of winter. We have a feeling that this southeast ridge may stick around off and on through December even. It may weaken and move over to the east enough to give us some cold shots, but it looks like it may dominate quite a bit of the early part of winter, which keeps everything cold to our north and west, and a lot of storm systems feed on that kind of a flow, and severe weather, heavy rain, that kind of a bet. So that is something we'll have to watch. Will be for next weekend on the 21st, I should say, and 22nd. How well is that going to play out? Is this really going to be here or not? We'll watch and see. Meanwhile, here's Thanksgiving on the GFS. Shows the system diving in. It's worth watching. The CFS, I don't like the monthly CFS. I like the sub-monthly. They do a little better. The monthly CFS seems to go crazy. But the monthly, or sub-monthly, is showing that by that period of Thanksgiving into near December, that some cold air may try to work its way in a little closer to us. So I can see some backlash snows with either the 21st system of November or the one near Thanksgiving. So backlash, wet snow I'm not going to rule it out. Real quick, here is the Japanese model. Here's the warm waters off the west coast. There's last year, there's this year. You definitely see El Nino this year. Precipitation, it's got dry for us this year, but it had dry for us last year. So kind of ignoring that. And for temperatures, just like last year, it is showing colder than normal right over our area, although it is a little interesting to see Alaska showing colder than normal as well. More on that later.